Imagine you sell a pizza for $20. At first, it sounds like an incredibly profitable business. A customer hands over $20, receives a pizza, and the transaction looks simple. But that $20 has a long journey ahead. Flour, tomato sauce, cheese, and toppings may not seem expensive individually. So why doesn't the restaurant keep most of the selling price? Because behind every pizza are hidden costs: employees, rent, electricity, insurance, marketing, equipment, and delivery. The economics of pizza isn't really about how much you sell a pizza for. It's about how much remains after every expense is paid. Let's imagine we're opening a small neighborhood pizza restaurant somewhere in the United States. The first major decision is finding a commercial space, and the right location can make a huge difference to the business. One of the most important pieces of equipment is the commercial pizza oven. It's essentially the production machine of the restaurant, but the oven is only the beginning. Refrigerators, freezers, mixers, preparation tables, sinks, and other equipment quickly add to startup costs. Before opening the doors, an owner may have to spend money on equipment, renovation, permits, insurance, furniture, food, and technology. Even an empty restaurant needs to be transformed into a working kitchen, and construction and installation can consume a large part of the startup budget. And there's another expense many new owners underestimate: working capital. You need enough cash to survive before the restaurant becomes profitable. Opening day can feel exciting. The doors are finally open, the kitchen is ready, and customers are beginning to walk in. But customers don't magically appear overnight. During the early weeks, sales can be much slower than expected. As awareness grows, more customers arrive, and now the challenge changes from finding customers to serving them efficiently. This is where one of the biggest restaurant misconceptions appears: revenue is not profit. Pizza can have attractive gross margins because the raw ingredients can cost significantly less than the final selling price. But one ingredient can make a major difference to those margins: cheese. A little extra cheese on one pizza may seem harmless, but multiply that mistake across hundreds of pizzas, and the cost becomes very real. That's why successful pizza restaurants carefully control portions. Every ingredient needs a standard amount. Consistency isn't just about making every pizza taste the same. It's also about making every pizza cost roughly the same to produce. Pizza dough is inexpensive compared with the final selling price, but it still requires preparation, equipment, labor, and careful planning. The restaurant needs enough dough for expected demand, while avoiding excessive preparation that could create waste. And demand isn't constant. Monday afternoon can be quiet, while Friday and Saturday nights can become extremely busy. During a slow afternoon, employees may have very little to do, but the restaurant still has to pay them. Then Friday night arrives, and suddenly the same restaurant can be overwhelmed with orders. Someone has to answer the phone, prepare ingredients, make pizzas, pack orders, clean the kitchen, and serve customers. Labor quickly becomes one of the biggest operating expenses, especially when wages and employee-related costs are included. If you schedule too few employees, service slows down, mistakes increase, and frustrated customers may leave. But schedule too many employees, and you're paying people during hours when there isn't enough work. The goal is balance enough employees to handle demand without allowing labor costs to destroy the restaurant's margin. A busy location can bring more customers, but high visibility usually comes with higher rent. A cheaper location may reduce expenses, but it could also mean fewer walk-in customers. So, the best location isn't necessarily the busiest or most beautiful. It's the location where the economics make the most sense. Then there's delivery. A customer can order a pizza from a smartphone without ever visiting the restaurant. The order moves from the kitchen to a driver and eventually from the restaurant to the customer's front door. But convenience can come with a cost. Delivery platforms and related services can take a meaningful portion of an order's economics. That's why many restaurants try to encourage customers to order directly, allowing the business to keep more of each sale. Let's take that $20 pizza again. The customer sees $20, but the restaurant sees a long list of expenses. Money flows toward ingredients, employees' rent, utilities, payment processing, marketing, maintenance, and many other costs. So, how does a pizza restaurant make meaningful money? One answer is volume. Selling 100 pizzas a day creates a certain level of revenue and helps cover the restaurant's fixed expenses. But selling 300 pizzas can dramatically increase revenue without tripling every major fixed cost. That's the power of operating leverage. Some costs stay relatively stable while sales continue increasing. But every restaurant eventually faces a limit. The kitchen can only produce so many pizzas at once. If the oven is completely full, adding more orders doesn't automatically create more capacity. To grow, the owner may need a larger oven, additional equipment, more preparation space, or even another production line. And pizza isn't the only product that can generate revenue. Restaurants often add wings, breadsticks, salads, drinks, and desserts. If a customer already ordered a pizza, adding a drink or side can increase the value of that same transaction. This is called increasing average order value. You don't necessarily need another customer, you simply need a larger order. But deciding what to charge is more complicated than simply calculating ingredient costs and adding a markup. Customers may be willing to pay more for premium ingredients, specialty toppings, larger portions, or a stronger overall experience. The menu itself can influence what customers choose, guiding attention toward certain products and higher value combinations. Another silent profit killer is food waste. Ingredients that are purchased but never sold eventually become money thrown away. A burned pizza might seem like a small mistake, but repeated mistakes across thousands of orders can become a significant expense. Wrong orders create another cost: refunds, replacements, wasted food, and sometimes unhappy customers who may never return. That's why inventory management matters. Owners need to know exactly what comes in, what gets used, and what gets wasted. Then there's equipment failure. A broken oven or refrigerator can suddenly turn a profitable day into a major problem. And if that equipment breaks during the busiest period of the week, the restaurant may lose not only repair money, but an entire night of sales. A strong brand can make customers more comfortable choosing one pizza restaurant over another. When customers know they can depend on the quality, they are more likely to come back again and again. One customer isn't worth only today's order. Over several years, a loyal customer can generate thousands of dollars in revenue. An independent restaurant gives the owner freedom to create a unique menu, brand, atmosphere, and business strategy. A franchise offers something different: an established brand, operating systems, training, and a business model that has already been developed. But that support comes with costs. Franchise fees and ongoing contractual expenses can significantly change the economics. Now imagine the restaurant generating $120,000 in monthly sales. That sounds enormous. But after food, labor, rent, utilities, insurance, marketing, maintenance, payment processing, and other expenses, much less remains. What matters is the money left after everything has been paid. That's the restaurant's actual operating profit. A successful pizza restaurant is really an interconnected system of suppliers, employees, equipment, customers, technology, delivery, and money. So the next time you buy a $20 pizza, remember you're not just buying dough, sauce, and cheese. Behind every slice is an entire business and an entire economic machine.